Secretary of State, my Lords, ladies and gentlemen. It's with very great pleasure that I warmly welcome you all on this singularly important day, marking the inauguration of the new University of Manchester. It's a special day, not just for everybody associated with the Victoria University of Manchester and the University of Manchester Institute of Science and Technology, but for the people of Manchester well represented here today. We're honoured, Your Majesty, by your presence amongst us, just as down the years other members of your own family have shared moments of our history. It was your great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, who granted our first charter in 1880. It was your grandfather, King George V, then Prince of Wales, who came to open this very hall just over 100 years ago. Your mother, Queen Elizabeth, celebrated our centenary with us in 1951. And of course, Prince Philip has served as a visitor of UMIST. And so it's with affection in these memories, ma'am, that we welcome you today. As Manchester is the first British university this century to be founded under royal charter, it's fitting that as the centrepiece of the day, Her Majesty will present her royal charter to the university. The ceremony will involve the first reading of a specially written foundation declaration and the inauguration of an annual tradition when we shall honour distinguished men and women who've contributed to the university and its development as scholars, graduates and benefactors. So today we honour these people who pioneered the bold and imaginative merger and helped to make it a success. And we look to our future, a future that will involve a major investment in our staff and in facilities to open up new areas of opportunity in the field of research and learning. We place widening participation in higher education high on our agenda and continue to forge highly productive and mutually beneficial links with young people with the help of our many partners in the region. Your Majesty, we're delighted that you're with us here today to present the university with its new charter.
Your Majesty, distinguished guests and colleagues, this new University of Manchester has been doubly blessed. Genuinely new, it is, like all new institutions, free to be innovative, creative and nimble. But it has also inherited a rich legacy of scholarly achievement, research performance, educational excellence and community engagement from its distinguished predecessor institutions, the Victoria University of Manchester and the University of Manchester Institute of Science and Technology. This combination of freedom and a great legacy is uniquely empowering. It gives the new university a once-in-an-institutional-lifetime opportunity to change the landscape of English higher education by creating, in Manchester, one of the finest universities in the world. The Manchester 2015 Agenda, the ambitious, practical plan through which the new university will pursue that vision, has been adopted by the Board of Governors of the new university after widespread consultation during 2004. It calls for serious, sustained commitment to the ambitious goal of lifting Manchester into that first rank of virtuosity in higher education. Those privileged to be members of the new university must now commit themselves to building that great university upon the very strong foundations that we have inherited. Where that requires bold innovation, we must have the courage to abandon traditional ways of doing things. Where it requires the strengthening of existing expertise through virtuoso appointments, we must do what it takes to attract such people. Because we know that it means creating an environment in which staff and students alike may realise their full potential. For that reason, we must be uncompromising in our determination to develop supportive, nurturing learning environments for all students and exemplary workplaces and professional development opportunities for all staff. Directed by those high ambitions, we are today establishing a tradition to be maintained annually hereafter. Each Foundation Day will recall this inaugural ceremony, celebrating, as we celebrate today, the distinction that each generation of the university has bequeathed to its successors. The Foundation Declaration, to be read shortly, will be reread on these annual occasions. It is also our hope that distinguished women and men who have contributed greatly to the life of the university will be invited on future Foundation Days to add their signatures to the Foundation Declaration in acknowledgement of the defining ideals and aspirations it expresses. I now invite the Registrar and Secretary, Mr Dougal Mackey, to bring forward Professor Sir Martin Harris, Professor John Garside, Dr Roger Pannoni and Professor Tom Hinchcliffe, who, to mark the inauguration of the University of Manchester on 1 October 2004, have become the first signatories to the Foundation Declaration. Your Majesty, in honouring these representative founders today, we honour through them all those whose vision, energy and commitment have contributed to the creation of the University of Manchester. As signatories, they are beginning a tradition through which we and our successors shall henceforth honour those who, through their achievements and distinction, have brought honour to this university. And it is now my honour to read for the first time the Foundation Declaration, to which they are the first signatories. In commemorating our founders, benefactors and distinguished predecessors, we commit ourselves to the cause they served of nurturing the University of Manchester as a scholarly community engaged in a common search for knowledge and wisdom. We affirm our resolve to make our university a place where students, whatever their backgrounds, learn to pursue truth through rational inquiry, where researchers engaged in discovery are also teachers, where research is valued both for its own sake and for the betterment of the world, where academic freedom is encouraged and protected, where the cultivation of cognitive skills, independence of mind, intellectual integrity and artistic expression promotes understanding and appreciation of the best that is known, thought and created in the world, and where students and staff are encouraged as responsible citizens of their own societies and of the international community to embrace fundamental human and civil rights as the only just, sustainable basis for a humane civilisation. We honour John Owens, founder of Owens College and, through it, of the Victoria University of Manchester, and Benjamin Hayward and his fellow founders of the Manchester Mechanics Institute, whose legacy grew into the University of Manchester Institute of Science and Technology. By virtue of their foresight, dedication and generosity, they have also become founders of this, the University of Manchester. As their privileged successors, we salute those into whose labours we have entered, uniting ourselves in spirit with the great pioneers and scholars who laid the foundations upon which we now build. Among the 22 Nobel laureates who have been associated with our predecessor universities, Arthur Lewis and John Hicks in economics, Alexander Todd and Ernest Rutherford in chemistry, Hans Bethe, Patrick Blackett and Niels Bohr, William Bragg, John Cockcroft and Neville Mott in physics, and Archibald Hill, a professor of medicine, have served as academics and researchers and senior officers in the universities. We celebrate them and many of like distinction across many disciplines who by their gifts and service fostered the growth and welfare of the two universities. At the same time, we look forward, as they did, to future generations who will join the fellowship that they and we have created. In celebrating Foundation Day, our high and firm resolve is to be worthy of the hopes and aspirations of our predecessors. Upon the foundation they have laid, we commit ourselves to the task of making this university one of the world's great centres of learning for the good of the City of Manchester, the northwest of England, the United Kingdom and the wider international community.
Your Majesty, distinguished guests, it's my pleasant duty at this ceremony to recognise and pay tribute to the many people, institutions and organisations that have played such a powerful and positive role in the making of the University of Manchester. Now, as early as March 2003, the Higher Education Funding Council for England, the North West Development Agency and the Office of Science and Technology pledged vital funds to ensure that the merger not only happened, but had the opportunity to succeed and to prosper. These organisations, together with the Department for Education and Skills, have made an important, indeed essential, contribution to the University of Manchester. And we're delighted to be joined by senior representatives from these various bodies for this very special occasion. Our grateful thanks also extend to the City Council of Manchester, who've given all the help and the support that they possibly could to the university. Of course, the university and the city are interdependent, and for us to succeed fully, the remarkable regeneration of Manchester as a great European city must also continue. And I believe our success too will be a driving force for Manchester's future success. The assistance and advice that the city has provided has been greatly appreciated, and that's why we're particularly honoured to have with us today, to join us in celebration, the Lord Mayor, the Leader of the Council, the Chief Executive and other representatives. Welcome. In many different ways, the pledges of support, the practical offers of assistance and good advice that all these organisations have provided throughout the process of Project Unity have made the bold, sometimes daunting challenge of bringing together the two universities. They've made it easier and smoother than it would otherwise have been. As the Chief Executive myself of Tesco, I fully appreciate the vision, the hard work, the courage that has resulted in the creation of the University of Manchester. It's a sad fact of life that all too often mergers in business do not succeed. Yet this union of two of Britain's finest universities has been successfully concluded. Now, why is that? Well, in a large part, it's due to the trust, the confidence and the commitment of our staff. They've worked tirelessly over the past 2 years to ensure that the dream of a single great institution became a reality. They should be heartily applauded for their determination, their sheer hard work, not only for what they've already done, but for what I know they'll continue to do into the future to make this university a world-class institution. The student body too, which has supported the idea of the University of Manchester since it was first proposed, should also take great pride in today's proceedings. Their representatives played a significant role in the bringing together of the two universities. The support and participation of the students from both campuses has been essential to the successful conclusion of Project Unity. And the best way we can thank them, of course, is by ensuring that the university fulfills its ambitious mission to offer the highest standards in teaching and research and to become the most valued university in Britain by graduate recruiters. Your Majesty, I wish the President, Alan Gilbert, and his staff every possible success in the months and years ahead as they set about making Manchester the most successful university in the country. And now I would like to invite Charles Clarke, the Secretary of State for Education and Skills, to respond on behalf of those institutions and organisations whose support has been so instrumental in bringing the new university into being.
Your Majesty, Mr. Vice-Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, today is indeed a historic day for Manchester and the North West. I pay tribute, on behalf of all those organisations who've worked with you, to the energy, enterprise, imagination and hard work which all of you have put in to creating this great new university. But it's not only a historic day for Manchester and the North West. It's a historic day for the whole of the country, the whole of the United Kingdom. We all know that the pace of intellectual and technical change grows ever faster. We can see it around us in every scientific, economic discipline. We all know that the drivers of that fast process of change are the world's great universities with the world's greatest and most creative people within them, thinking unthinkable thoughts, creating unthinkable ideas. And we know that in the wake of that dramatic process of change comes economic strength and social stability for the communities within which that thinking is taking place. But we also know that it is a very competitive world at this level of great world-class universities. A simple survey, every detailed analysis shows strong American universities, shows the growing quality of universities in China, India, and other parts of the world, with massive investment going in to ensure that those great countries can make their contribution to this process of change. And it remains the case, sadly, that only a relatively few of these world-class universities are in Europe, and most of them are in this country. And it's a very competitive climate for people, for circumstances, for the ability to contribute to that process of change, as the Vice-Chancellor has stated. It is immensely to the credit of Manchester that you have declared that this great city will be home to one of the world's great universities. It is an ambitious challenge, it is a difficult challenge, but it's a challenge which, because of the history of these universities, I believe you can assert with some confidence. The spirit of the Manchester Mechanical Institute, founded in 1824, of Owens College, which became Victoria University in 1851, both of them pioneering organisations in their time at their stage of economic and social development, Manchester genuinely leading the world at that time in a period of tremendous change. Or just to survey the spirit, the glittering spirit of those 22 Nobel Prize winners who have worked and studied and thought here. The list in the Foundation Declaration of itself, a list of some of the most exciting, exhilarating people that the world has ever known. Again, a tribute to the history and creativity of this great city. It is in that spirit that you have decided to build this new great university, able to challenge to be one of the great world-class universities at a time when this process of change is accelerating, as I say, so fast. I wish you every good fortune in what you do. I offer the support that the government can offer to you in carrying that through in whatever way seems right to enable you to succeed in your ambitions. And I say too that I hope other universities will draw lessons from the energy and enterprise with which you have addressed this task, and give weight again to that old and famous saying, at least in Manchester, what Manchester does today, the world does tomorrow.
Majesty. It's with great honour that the University of Manchester today receives its Royal Charter from Her Majesty the Queen. Royal Charters have a history dating back to the 13th century. Their original purpose was to create public or private corporations and to define the privileges and purposes. Nowadays, new charters are normally reserved for bodies that work in the public interest and which can demonstrate preeminence, stability and permanence in their particular field. It's for this reason that it is a singular honour that this is the first British university in the 21st century to be granted a Royal Charter. The Charter and the accompanying statutes set out the overall constitution of the university and how the university should operate. Now, this university's new charter has been formulated through an extensive consultative process, and we owe a great debt of gratitude to all those who contributed to this. We believe that our new charter combines the best values and traditions of academic endeavour with management arrangements and modern-day principles of good governance. These are designed to meet the needs and aspirations of a progressive university in the 21st century. Finally, you are all very warmly invited to view the Royal Charter in its full form, and which is today being displayed at the foot of the Whitworth Hall staircase. Your Majesty, I now invite you to present the Charter to our Co-Chancellor, Ms. Anna Ford.
Co-Chancellors, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me here today. My family has enjoyed a long association with two institutions that have come together to create this powerful new force in higher education. The Victoria University of Manchester was, of course, named in honour of Queen Victoria, and I have visited the university on a number of occasions over the past 50 years in my role as visitor. My most recent visit was 2 years ago, when I was able to see for myself the magnificent contribution that the two universities made to the very successful Commonwealth Games hosted by the city in 2002. As we have heard from the President and Vice-Chancellor, the creation of the new university represents a bold and imaginative response to the challenges facing higher education. In creating this new institution, you are building on a rich academic heritage and a fine tradition of excellence in both teaching and research. By combining the talents of two such highly rated institutions, I feel sure that you will be able to take advantage of a more powerful academic position, not only in the United Kingdom, but across the world. I offer you, Co-Chancellors, President and Vice-Chancellor, and all your staff, my good wishes as you build your new institution and take advantage of the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. I am pleased to present this Royal Charter to mark the formal establishment of the University of Manchester.
Your Majesty, thank you for this charter and for your kind and encouraging words. Your presence here has turned what would have been a very important day for our university into a very special one also. It's been a privilege for me, for Sir Terry, and for all our distinguished guests, our founders and members of the university community, to be witnesses at this historic ceremony. The presentation of this new charter is the beginning of an exhilarating future full of opportunity. Our ambitions as a university community are bold and challenging. In these troubled times, the importance of the civilizing nature of universities should not be undervalued. Those who teach and carry out research and their students are intent on looking for and seeking to explain and understand the very best that mankind can achieve. We want to play our part and to strive to make Manchester one of the best and most fruitful universities in the world. We all have a role to play in realising the ambitions we have set ourselves, and I wish the new President and Vice-Chancellor, the new officers of the university, and every one of its staff, students and officials, from the most junior to the most senior, every good luck in achieving this aim. And I know we will, as ever, be strongly supported in this by the wider community in the North West. And if the energy, enthusiasm and sheer dogged hard work shown over the past 2 years in bringing these two institutions together are anything to go by, I think we shall succeed.